It's that time of year when I love to reflect on all of my favorite books that I've read so far in 2024, and I get to look ahead to see all of my most anticipated books of 2025, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Molly. I'm a freelance book editor and a book blogger over on mollyreads.com, where I blog about book lists, book reviews, reading tips, all of that sort of thing, along with, you know, the nitty-gritty behind the publishing process and all things editing. So anyway, these book releases, spring and winter 2025 books, look so good. There are a lot of book trends for 2025 that interest me, and most of them are what you would expect, you know, an interest in a growing and changing technology, social media, reflecting on the impacts of social media and internet culture, that sort of thing. But I just have this feeling that a lot of the books coming out in 2025 are going to be incredible book club books. Like maybe we'll be adding some of these books to our best book club books of all time list. You never know. I'll talk about this in another video about what makes a good book club book, but for me, it's basically books that have a lot to unpack, a lot to discuss about the world around us. Simple as that. Okay, before I jump into my 10 most anticipated books of 2025, I have to mention that I have a full list over on my blog at mollyreads.com. I'll link it down below, and there's 25 books on that list. So 25 for 25 of my most anticipated 2025 books. Let's get into it. First, let's start with The Story She Left Behind by Patty Callahan Henry. I read The Secret Book of Flora Lee by her this year with my book club, and it was one of my favorite reads of the year. And we actually had Patty on our virtual hangout for a little author Q&A. So we got to learn a ton about the book and just how much research she puts into her books. And she's just a true delight and joy. I'm really looking forward to this book because it's set in South Carolina. It has another ode to storytelling kind of theme, which I love. So this is going to be a literary mystery, and it looks like it's a mother-daughter, female generational story, family secrets, like I said, set in South Carolina, where Patty's from. So I am so excited. I love a good mystery. I love family secrets, and I just feel like it has all of the ingredients for me to just be an excellent book for the new year. And you know, the story centers on language and storytelling, like I said. I think the main protagonist is also an illustrator. So it's giving me a little bit of vibes similar to The Secret Book of but I love that, and I am truly so invested in anything Patty writes. My next highly anticipated book of 2025 is Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. She wrote Black Cake a few years ago, I believe. There's a whole TV series for Black Cake that I have not watched yet. I really need to do it. If you've watched it, leave a comment down below and tell me if you liked it. But this is an author that I will definitely pick up anytime she writes a new book. I will be checking it out, and this one looks so good. It's a multi-generational epic with a mystery thrown in, which is just Good Dirt. Has multiple POVs and explores a lot of heavy but important topics, which is why I think it would be a great book club pick. She touches on grief, trauma, mental health, the effects of racism, ancestry, personal histories, just so much to unpack. I forgot to mention that The Story She Left Behind is coming out in March of 2025, and this one, Good Dirt, is coming out in January of 2025. But even though it's coming out in January, I feel like it's going to be one of those hard-hitting books that I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of the year. A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young is also coming out in January 2025. She is the author of The Unmaking of June Farrow, which was a really, really fun, I don't even know what you would call it, fantasy with a little bit of magical realism thrown in, time travel book. So this one is about a woman who investigates her brother's mysterious death, and obviously a lot of secrets come out. Of course, family secrets once again. It looks like this one's gonna have a supernatural mystery element set in a small town, so once again, I absolutely love that. Also, there is a twin connection in this book, and as a twin, I do love twin stories, so I will be hoping crossing my fingers that this one lives up to the hype. And of course, Emily Henry's next book, Great Big Beautiful Life, is coming out, I think, in April of 2025. I would read Emily Henry's grocery list at this point. I'm obsessed with all of her books. I think she's a phenomenal romance author who really adds a little more substance to the genre and really flips a lot of the tropes on its head. If you're interested in Emily Henry, if you also love her, I have some in-depth book reviews, including book club discussion questions for Funny Story and Happy Place on my blog, which I'll link down below. This one sounds like it's the most similar to Beach Read, which, oh my gosh, please, that would be amazing. But this one's about two writers who go to this remote area where there's they have the chance to compete to write a biography of this famous yet reclusive older woman who used to be like a tabloid princess, tragic heiress. Don't really know her story, but I know she's going to be interesting. It looks like it's going to be an enemies to lovers, maybe with some forced proximity trope, with some opposites attract, who knows what else. I am so here for it. Another highly anticipated book of 2025 for me is going to be Blackwood's Blue Sky by Ewan Ivey. She wrote The Snow Child, which was, oh my gosh, such an amazing book, especially to read in the winter, especially with your book club. This one is billed to be another enchanting Alaskan adventure story, and she writes so beautifully, and it's going to be a reimagining of Beauty and the Beast, which I cannot. Okay, I have to readjust because I'm sitting on the floor and these old bones. Okay, I've been here for a while, you guys. It's hard for me to sit on the floor. Okay, I think that works. We'll see. Guys, it's been a while. I'm a little rusty at this. But anyway, our next most anticipated book of 2025 is Back at This by Linda Holmes. Nope, it's Back After This by Linda Holmes. She wrote Evie Drake Starts Over and Flying Solo. I think she is such a sweet romance / general fiction author. She just has this like feel-good story every time. Very heartwarming, very sweet, and I'm looking forward to this one. So this book is about a podcast producer who agrees to host this new series on modern dating, which as a reality TV junkie, it just sounds right up my alley. Of course, there's going to be like a forbidden love element to it. And I don't know, I just trust everything Linda Holmes writes, so I'm really anticipating this one. A woman finding herself and figuring out what she really wants. I feel like that is her whole thing. Of course, one of my most anticipated books of 2025 is going to be Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man, the second book in the Vera Wong series. The first one was called Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Sutanto. Y'all, I am in love with this character, Vera Wong. I feel like if you haven't read the first book, you have time to read it before this one comes out. You should get on that, but let me just suggest the audiobook because I think it's the most immersive way to consume this story. And yeah, if you like cozy mysteries, I don't know what you're doing if you haven't read this book yet. It is so sweet, so cozy, found family, intriguing, page turning. I love it, and I can't wait to get back in that world. So this one comes out in April 2025, so you have time. You have time to read the first book in the series before you get to this one. Another 2025 book release that I'm really excited about is The Art of Vanishing by Morgan Pager. I have been on BookTube and Bookstagram for probably like 10 years now, and I've been following NYC Book Girl for a long time. So when I found out she was writing a book, I was so impressed and so excited to read what she was writing, but also, even if I didn't know this author, I would 100% be picking up this book. It is pitched to readers of In 5 Years and Remarkably Bright Creatures, which are two of my favorite books. This book is about a museum employee who finds out she can step into the paintings of her museum, and I do believe there is a love affair with one of the subjects in her museum, and I can't even fathom what this will be like, but I'm so excited. I also feel like it's just such a refreshing original premise, and I can't wait to see what Morgan does with this book. I'm just so proud of her. I'm so proud of all of these debut authors who are killing it. That is The Art of Vanishing, which comes out in July 2025. I'm also really looking forward to The Bachelorette Party by Camila Sten. This is a page-turning thriller that's being compared to The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So right away, I was hooked. I love a good remote island murder story for some reason. This is a podcaster true crime junkie story that I've heard is really twisty, propulsive, atmospheric, and yeah, I'm here for it. Dual timeline, I believe, so let's go. The Bachelorette Party comes out in June of 2025. Next, we have The Book Club for Troublesome Women by Marie Bostwick, and it looks so good. This is a feminist historical fiction book set in the 1960s, basically about a group of housewives who form a book club. They read the feminine mystique we love. And yeah, I think the whole book is sort of following these four very different women and their journeys after being dramatically changed by this experience of reading this book together. I feel like this is a book we need in 2025, so I will be here for it. I also think, the feminine mystique strikes a chord with them, but the book is also about forming a sisterhood and just how they're navigating a changing world, and I think it's going to be fascinating. So those are my 10 most anticipated books of 2025, and again, I have a full list of 25 books that I'm very, very excited about. It was very hard for me to narrow a list down to 10, so definitely check out the list in the link below. I know there's more historical fiction, romance, literary fiction, who knows what else, probably a thriller into the mix, so definitely check out that list. And if you want to stay connected with, what I'm currently reading and my thoughts on all the bookish things, make sure you're signed up for my newsletter, and I will have a link down below for that as well. One more thing, as we wrap up the year, people are starting to think about how to start a book club. If they're interested in starting a book club, I have a blog post all about it. I will link it down below. Also, I have a book club kit that you may or may not be interested in. You should check it out. I have a freebie that you can download of a book club discussion guide to kind of see what you can expect, but there's a lot of added perks, and it's not just a list of books, I'll put it that way. There's a lot in it that I think you might be interested in. Okay, that's all the things. Please let me know what you are most excited to read in 2025. I would love to know. Thanks for being here, and I will talk to you next time.